that's a good point that I want to bring up. Is there are two things that you can approach your product. Say you have a product that you want to take to infomercial. Well, you can approach it as the quick in, quick out, quick buck, or you can approach it the way that WD-40, Tylenol, which is branding.
Okay, so you can use this as a method. Well, now the $250,000 doesn't sound so bad.
No.
So if it's the start of branding, a process of branding,
yes,
then it could actually be considered kind of a cheap way of beginning that process.
Yes.
Oh,
right.
Interesting.
And there's a big difference between doing something to get in and get out and branding your own company. And the difference is between a PDA and BlackBerry.
Okay.
There were cell phones, and then there was BlackBerry.
Yeah.
And BlackBerry's it's been written up in books. It's famous for having the name that just captured a whole market, but it became a brand. Right. And there are certain things that just stand out because they went the extra step. They do a couple things, and they actually take the time to not just do a quick turnover and get in and get out. But George Foreman was a brand.
Okay. Okay. And because he's the brand, he's now selling other things on his own website that have got nothing to do with the infomercials.
Absolutely.
And so he's picked up this business on the side or now main or whatever you want to look at it, doing that. So, so there's good things to be done there.
Yes, yes. And you have to look a lot further than just how many units you can sell and how you can get in and get out. And the other thing is you might want to launch your product now, and if you have a product, for instance, that is I actually want to address two different things. But say you have something that is consumable, meaning if you have an arthritis cream, as I brought up before. That is something that is a phenomenal way to start a brand, because if that's one thing that you don't have to do a 5-to-1 markup, that's something you only really need to do a 3-to-1 markup, because people, if you do a good job with that, you can get reorders. So that's something that you can get people to do on a continuity basis. Mm-hmm. So you can say, at the end of 1 month, we'll just get you on a continuity, which means we'll send you a new one every month. And that way you'll have customers for life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, very good. Yeah.
And then you can establish yourself as a brand, and then pretty soon you can introduce.
Start selling allied products to the same customers.
Absolutely.
Build a line and build a business based on that.
Right. And it's really easy to private label just about anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Original equipment manufacturers, they'll slap your label on.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Well, as we all know, the Kenmore washers and dryers are made by Whirlpool.
Oh, and Whirlpool is owned by the company that started the George Foreman
product. Oh, you're talking about Sultan?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Sultan owns everything.
Yeah. Well, they did real well.
They own you.
Yeah, they do own me.
Yes.
And others. Okay. So, getting started. Right at the beginning, what do you do? First thing, you tell me.
You have a good idea for something. My advice to you, the very first thing is Google it. Make sure that you're not wasting your time, because I've had so many people come up to me and say, I worked at a company for 7 years, and so many times I was brought into new business meetings and had to sit down and sit across from somebody who had spent so much time and money in development and so much time going through, every plastic mold costs $10,000 at least. And to see the look on their face when I said, oh, hold on a second, I would run home and bring the exact same thing that they just spent thousands of dollars making from scratch, and all they had to do was Google it and find out that it exists.
So this is what I tell people in the book and the classes, is go shop for your idea. Go shopping and see if you can find your idea. Go ask for it.
This book?
Yes, we'll show it later. This book we'll show later. Okay. Pardon the pitches. But if you just go shopping for the item that you think people are going to buy, you don't some things too are walk in as a customer and try to buy it. So I'm looking for
Yeah.
this product that does these things.
That's a great idea. That's a really great idea.
Oh yeah, it sells real well in the classes too. And that way you find out from the very people you propose to be customers if they who are stores you like to go in anyway. If you like cooking, you're going to go in a cooking store and you're going to ask for this product. And the people that at Mrs. Cook's or at Williams Sonoma, they've seen everything and they know everything. And also, if you don't just look around in the store, because if the product is not in the store, that doesn't mean it's not there. It probably means it doesn't sell anymore. Mm-hmm. They're done with it. There's something better out there. So you go and you work, oh, it's not in any stores. I looked around. No, go ask for it. And you go and you bug the clerks, and then you bug the manager, then you bug the buyer. Keep going back there as a customer and saying, I'm looking for, and they'll tell you, it doesn't exist. Then when you know, hey, it doesn't exist, I checked around, then you can start working on things. But that would be terrible to put all that money into it and find out it's there. And I know, because I hear the same thing. Gee, I worked on all these things, and I tell people to go out and check, and they'll email me back and say, I went shopping for my idea, and they have it. I say, yes, of course. There's nothing new under the sun. We all tend to think of, and I think the creative process coming up with new products takes more than one person. That's why they have these design firms that actually, work for Apple, work for these other people where they're coming up with products for other companies. Yeah. So I interrupted you on the starting process. So that was the thing. Just make sure when you're starting out that you've Googled it. It doesn't exist already.
Right.
Yeah, because you're not providing any value. You're not doing anybody any favors, bringing up what's already out there.
Right. And if it doesn't exist, or if it did exist and didn't sell, you know why.
Yeah. So go out there and reinvent a wheel that nobody wants.
Right. Exactly.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the next thing I would highly recommend is name it and find a really good name for it. Find a descriptive name for it and register that on register.com.
There's companies that actually do that come up with the names like Exxon and Spiers and companies that actually do that. But one could do that themselves, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, that's something I do. I've named a number of products for a lot of good big companies.
Yeah.
BlackBerry was one that was outsourced, and that, I don't know. You've probably read the same books, and you have all those great references.
Names. Yeah. Well, I noticed in the last 30 years in gift and housewares, people, there's the import company is usually named after the person that's running or owns the import company. Okay, so the company is usually named after, but they'll name their lines this or that or whatever else. So there'll be a country collection dinnerware line or Santa's Workshop Christmas ornament line. Now, what I experience over time is the old Kleenex problem, where when somebody names a line, so many people just adopt that you may have controlled the name, but everybody's using it. Like everybody comes in when they want a tissue, they ask for a Kleenex. Mm-hmm. So Kleenex is a registered name, right? But everybody asks for Kleenex.
Right.
Well, people walk into the booths and say, where's your country collection line? Because there's so many people that had these lines, all named different. But the name that just sort of stuck with everybody, the kind of one that became the generic name, was country collection or Santa's Workshop. So everybody had a Santa's Workshop line, even though they named their Christmas ornament line by different things. So